Welcome back, everybody. It's Nicola Cairncross here, and I've got a few minutes before my daughter arrives and we're all going out for this evening. So I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about the difference between sales and marketing, because there's a lot of misconceptions around this. My favourite quote is on the front of my book that describes the difference between marketing and selling. It's from Peter Drucker. It goes something along the lines of, the point of great marketing is to make selling superfluous. And I like that enormously, because that's exactly what we do online. We attract our ideal customer. We convince them that we're the right person for the job by creating fantastic content, and then we take them to a place where they can see all the information they need to make a buying decision, and then they know what to do to take action. The call to action's clear. When I was very young, my first job out of leaving school was to go and work for my local newspaper in the display advertising department, and my job was to sell display advertising. And I always thought at that point there was a secret way to sell things to people that I didn't know. And I had all this fear around the whole sales thing. And nobody actually sat me down and said that sales is just solving other people's problems and then making them an offer. And so, years went past and I kept thinking, I'm not a good salesperson. I don't know how to sell. I don't like the idea of selling to people. And of course, salesmen and car salesmen and estate agents and anyone who does sales is they're regarded as sort of sleazy and not very nice. And I went to art college, so that was even more prevalent, that view then. In fact, when you even go to the pub, there'd be all the arty types over one side and all the sales types over all the other. So everyone was sort of quite separate, and there was just this sort of a mystique, but a negative mystique, if you know what I mean, around the whole sales and people who are in sales. And actually, what I've come to realize over the years is that salespeople are just the extroverts, and the artists were the introverts. So that was really funny looking back on it. And the most attractive people were the salespeople, because they were the most fun a lot of the time. So as I got older, I gradually realized that I could sell. I could do this thing called selling. And the reason I could do it was because I'm enthusiastic. And when I know something inside out, I'm confident. So confidence and enthusiasm are two of the main criteria for being a great salesperson. The other thing is being able to listen, because a lot of salespeople just talk at the potential customer, and that puts them right off. And it also stops the salesperson from listening to hear what the problem of the customer is. And one of the things that I'm particularly good at is what's called consultative. Hang on, I can't even say it. Consultative selling. No, there's too many t's in there. Consultative selling. And that's when you're selling a high ticket item. So what's happening in the higher ticket sales environment is that you've pre-qualified the customer all the way through. So by the time they arrive at a situation where they're having a conversation with you, they've pretty much decided to buy. All you've got to do is make sure that they're the right kind of person for you and you're the right kind of person for them. I can recommend a few books on this, because I'm probably making a right old hash of it trying to explain it to you. But one of the most useful books I've ever come across was by Aaron Hall, who's one of the guys who took Salesforce, which is a big sort of software company, through from being a tiny little business to being a multinational behemoth that it is today. And it's a book called Predictable Revenue, and it's absolutely fantastic because it talks about how to set up a system for selling whatever your product or service is. And it also talks about the difference between salespeople and marketing people. And even if you're both of those in the early days, you have to set aside different days to do marketing activities and then other days to do sales activities. So for example, you might choose Monday to do your marketing, to create your content marketing, to think about attracting your audience. And then you might say Thursday and Friday, I'll host sales calls. Where let's not call them sales calls, let's call them consultations, because that's another thing you need to do, is you need to sort of swap the language around in your head. You're so comfortable with the language that you're using that you don't think of yourself as selling. I really like the phrase making an offer, because if you went around to someone's house and they got up to make a cup of tea, and they made a cup of tea and they brought a biscuit in for themselves, you'd be pretty cheesed off, wouldn't you? Because you'd like a biscuit too, probably. And so if they came back and they said, would you like a biscuit? Then that's making an offer. And you can say yes, or you can say no. Easy peasy. They also might come in and say, which kind of biscuit would you like? I've got peanut butter, or I've got chocolate chip cookies. So that's what's called an alternative close. And that's where you're giving the customer, in this case you're getting made an offer and you're getting the chance to choose between two things. So what I like to do is I like to make all of the sales part of my process as automated as possible. But when it's a higher ticket item, people do like to talk to someone to put all their fears at rest and to make sure they've had all their questions answered. So if you can reframe your idea of a sales call into a consultation where you're going to listen to your customer, give them a damn good listening to for at least 45 minutes. And then at the very end, you're going to say, I've heard you explaining what your challenges are in whatever. And then you're going to say, and this is what I can offer you. And you're going to offer them 2 or 3, never more than 3, 2 or 3 options. Now, those could be different price points. Those could be different variations on a theme. They could be different colors even. But it's nice to be able to offer your customer an option, because if you only offer them one thing, the answer is either going to be yes or no. The other thing you want to know if someone does say no is, why are they saying no? I remember when I went to my bank for a rather large loan, I think I was after £350,000 to buy a hotel. And my bank manager, who previously had been very sort of positive, he came back to me and he said, we can't do this. It's a no, I'm afraid. And I sat there for a little while and I said to him in the end, is it a no, not now, a no, never, or a no, not that much? Because he wasn't allowed to tell me which it was. And he told me which one it was. It was a no, not that much. So I adjusted my application. I brought the amount I was looking to borrow down, and then I got a letter within the week to say that my loan had been confirmed. Ironically, on the same day as I got a letter from Virgin Credit Card to say that my credit card request for £1,000 credit card limit had been declined, which was really interesting, isn't it? It just shows how the game of money is played at different levels. So coming back to selling, the thing to do is to put yourself in the shoes of your ideal customer. Really try and picture them. I've got 2 or 3 people that I think of whenever I'm thinking about creating a customer journey. And you've got to just walk yourself through that customer journey and see if there's anything that jars for you, if there's anything that puts you off, if there's anything that makes you feel a bit, oh, I'm not sure about this. And then really try and have all the elements of a great offer. A great offer is a fantastic headline that says what it does on the tin and what the outcome's going to be. You need things like testimonials. You need social proof. So you need people's outcomes, and case studies are very good for social proof. You need ideally 3 different either price points or colors or combinations, 3 different things that people can choose between. And then you need to give people the option, if they have got questions, how they can get those questions answered. If you start putting all of this in place and walk yourself through as if you were the customer at every stage, then you can create a sales process that bridges the marketing that you're doing through your content creation, which reassures your potential future customer that you know what you're talking about. And then when they come to the place where you want them to see your offer, try and make your offer as clear as possible with nice options. And then make sure that the call to action is very, very clear indeed. And ideally, it should be deadline driven, because people, let's face it, when I'm buying something, I'm looking for any reason not to buy it, because I'm tight like that. And I'd really rather that someone pushed me into buying something that I actually wanted, rather than let me wiggle off the hook and prevaricate and put the decision off for another day. So on that topic, we're going to be opening up my Clicks and Leads Academy and it'll be for a whole 1-year membership. And you can use me to help you start an online business. You can use me to help you market your existing business better online, whether that's a real world business or an off-world business. Talk about mindset, marketing and money, and I'll be there every week to support you. If you want to find out more about how I make an offer, go to clicksandleads.com/academy and see when the next start date is, because I've made some really nice deadline driven offers for people who take action, and I look forward to seeing you inside on the other side. Do let me know if any of this was any use to you, especially if you've got an aversion to selling. I hope this helped. See you tomorrow. Bye.